Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chasing Hope with me, Catherine Abraham. Today's topic is one that each of us thinks about, contemplates about, but whenever it comes to sharing, we suddenly shrink and we prefer to become reserved. Vulnerability is visualized as a display of human weakness. And it is at this time, especially with the pandemic making all of us so vulnerable, that this entire concept has now suddenly become the center point and the focus of the entire world. Suddenly, an entire world that was so scared of actually believing, understanding, and accepting that they are vulnerable, now proudly goes ahead and says, yes, I am vulnerable. And how do we do that? By putting our masks on, making sure we're using our sanitizers, making sure that we're keeping social distancing, maintaining ourselves, our health. Keeping ourselves basically on the top of the pyramid. Now here's the thing. Vulnerability in itself has been manifested as a weakness. But is it really a weakness? For a believer, it isn't. Because when you look at the nexus of the relationship that the human, that is mankind, and the divine share, vulnerability plays the maximum role and the strongest part. When we talk about being weak, when we ask ourselves, do we really need help? Do I need to ask my neighbor? Do I need to ask my friend? Do I need to ask my mentor? At times like this, there is a war, an internal battle that is fought. A battle between weakness and ego. Because at a time when the ego manifests itself in a bigger and a brighter way, we realize that the entire concept of vulnerability shrinks. Because now suddenly, no, I'm not weak. I can do it myself. I don't need help. I'm very capable. Vulnerability has nothing to do with capability. Weakness has nothing to do with capability. In fact, it is the ability of the strong to recognize their own weaknesses. It is the ability of a person who knows that at some point in time he will require help and he will require support, who emerges ahead of the crowd. One of the prime qualities of a leader, apart from, of course, being empathetic, is to also be vulnerable. Jesus Christ was a very strong person, internally very strong. His faith was very strong. But let's not forget that when his best friend died, when Lazarus died, the shortest verse of the Bible reads, Jesus wept. Now the question is, when Jesus is the Son of God, He is the intercessor, the creator, when He is all of these strong elements, how did He break down? The truth is that weakness is subjective. Vulnerability is subjective. There are times when people go through a very, very rough phase in their life. And they believe that by hiding this phase from the rest of the world, they're doing the right thing. Maybe their thought process is right. But at the same time, think about it. By bottling up all those feelings, by repressing all those emotions, are you creating a contented individual out of yourself? There are days when you will want to just shut off from the entire world. Make sure that no one gets in, no one breaks that iron wall that you've mentally created. And it's at times like this we realize that in the case of a believer, it's exactly the opposite. Because for the believer, in his weakness, he finds strength. When we cultivate love, we actually allow ourselves to be our most vulnerable selves. And in fact, an author famously wrote, "We cultivate love when we allow our most vulnerable and powerful selves to be deeply seen and known, and when we honor the spiritual connection that grows from that offering with trust, respect, kindness, and affection, that is when the strongest relationship that ever existed now comes into play. The relationship that is shared between God the Creator and man the created." If the Creator did not love us, He would have probably continued to make us like animals, mute, or like trees, which are immobile. Or He would have just made us like the water which spreads across the earth, but really can't do much on itself. He didn't make us just to adorn those fringes and frills of the earth. He made us as the crown of creation. And that is what makes us so different. Many, many years ago, a young man stood at the crossroads of his life, wondering if the woman he loved would ever acknowledge him. He, in fact, had rejected her when she had proclaimed her love for him. But all of these years later, he wondered, would she even recognize him? Would she bother to give him a second chance? Had she moved on? With all of these questions, he waited outside her door, his hand full of roses. His mind kept oscillating between she loves me and she loves me not. Finally, when the door opened a little while later, he was shocked. Why? Because he saw her smiling at him with the same affection, the same love she'd shown him even the day he'd thrown her out. Imagine the depth of that love. And imagine that if a human being, after so many years of being abandoned, isolated, could still forgive and meet love with love, how much more would our Creator love us if we just acknowledged His presence and went ahead and loved Him? Love is a two-way street, not a one-way highway. So when you look at your life today, ask yourself, do I really love God, or am I just approaching Him selfishly when I need something? Many years ago, I recall hearing a pastor who said, stop working as the advisory board for God. Stop telling Him what to do and how to do it and when to do it. God is your project manager and not the other way around. What a powerful statement. Every time we pray, we end up asking God, please do this for me. Please make sure that I get well soon. Please make sure that someone else makes sure that he is doing well in his life. Please make sure I get that car by 2021 February. Please make sure that I get the job as soon as possible. Please make the pandemic go away. Really? Are you God's advisor? Are you the one calling the shots? So instead of venturing out as this uncalled for advisory, how about we change a little and go forward and start being vulnerable in the right way? We ask God for help, guidance, support, because we know that love is not just a barter. It is something that we nurture and enrich. It is a connection that can be shared between people when they learn to appreciate others, love others the same way they love their own selves. Brené Brown in Gifts of Imperfection writes, shame, blame, disrespect, betrayal, and the withholding of affection damage the roots from which love grows. Love can only survive these injuries if they are acknowledged, healed, and rare. The question is, are you ready to get healed? Are you ready to experience the chain of events that God has in mind for you? Or are you going to keep circumventing around your destiny and trying to tell God, no, I cannot wait for you. I want to do it my way. And then go bungle it all up. Please remember, my friends, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, happiness, even hope, peace, and creativity. It is the source of accountability and authenticity that makes us clearer as believers in terms of our purpose in this world, in terms of our spiritual lives. Please remember, vulnerability is a path. It's not the manifestation of weakness, it's the manifestation of God's strength. Because when we are at our weakest, God is His strongest. Being open to pain and pleasure, to be accepting of beauty, bounty, and being, all of this is important. But most important is that you should experience the joy of the open life behind closed doors as well as in public when you share your faith, your spiritual journey with others. In every healthy relationship, remember, vulnerability plays a major role. And even in our relationship with God, in this spiritual odyssey, in the rather bland narrative of our lives, we can sense alluring voices that are enticing enough to raise consequential questions, often making us vulnerable enough to lose our real self. But that is the time when we've got to reclaim our faith, when we've got to reclaim what God has given us in terms of wisdom. Use that wisdom to get back to Him and say, God, I can't do this, but you can. Because my God is bigger than my problem. So if He has brought me to it, He will take me through it. If I have this belief, if we all have this belief, that itself will make us strong in the eyes of God and strong in the eyes of a fellow man as well. So please make sure that the next time you're on your knees, you're your vulnerable self, you're your weakest self, because it's when you hand over all those weaknesses to God that God returns the favor and He makes sure that He exchanges your weakness with His strength. So when you think about this podcast, as you go through today, ask yourself, what should I really do to mend my relationship with God? And what should I really do to mend my relationship with my neighbor, my friend, my spouse, my children? How can I be a better person? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Chasing Hope, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Do send us your suggestions, your prayer requests. Of course, don't forget to log on to our website www.chasinghopewithkatherine.com, and if there is anything regarding the Bible that you'd like to share your comments, or you'd like to get clarifications for, our Bible experts are waiting to hear from you, and they will get back to you with an answer. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next episode.